Hello, this is Zamanzadeh from ZZNetworking.com. In this tutorial video, we will continue where we left off last time. In order to see better, press this icon to view full screen. Last time we were dealing with subqueries. Now what's important to remember about subqueries is it's really a query within a query. So let's go ahead and start coding some of this. For this first code, we're going to be dealing with the table's orders and order line. We want to select the order number and part number and number ordered from the order line table where the order number is in, and then we want, in our inner query, we're selecting the order number from the orders table where the order date is greater than the 23rd of February 2010. So let's go ahead and first select all from orders, since that's our inner query. Now, the first step, which you can see here in parentheses in the bottom code, is we are selecting. I'm going to bring this down for you. We're selecting the order number from this order number column from the orders table where the order date is greater than the 23rd day of the month of February 2010. We're getting the answer, the order number that satisfies this condition, and then we are passing it to our outer query where we go to the order line table. So select all from order line, and once we're here on order line table and we find an order number that matches this condition, we go ahead and select the order number from the order line table, the part number, and the number ordered that satisfy where this condition is satisfied, where all the order dates are greater than 23rd of February 2010. So we hit Control Enter, and the results are order number 222, part number 225, and the number ordered is 11. Was ordered past this date. Now, in the next example, let's go ahead and let me give you an example of using the same table subquery. Last two examples, we used two different tables. This might make it easier for you to understand. Let's select all columns from customer table. Hit Control Enter. Here we want to find the customer number, customer name, and balance from this table customer where the balance is greater than, and then we want to find the average balance. Now the only way to find this is using a subquery, because here we're saying select the average balance from the customer table, and in the outer query we're saying find all the balances that are greater than this. Whenever you have a situation where you have an unknown value, you need to use a subquery. Now we can look at this table here. We can't find what the average balance is unless we, of course, added every single one of these balances and then divided by 10. So we could either do that, we could add these balances together, but in most situations you might deal with a table that has 1,000 records, in which you'd have to add 1,000 records and then divide by 1,000 to find the average balance. We could find the average balance and then say select customer number, customer name, balance from customer where balance is greater than whatever value that is. The easiest way to do it is by doing this subquery. So start off by opening up a parentheses and selecting the average balance from the customer table. This will give you a value. That value is executed first and then passed into your outer query, which says to select the customer number column, customer name, and the balance column from the same table customer where the balance is greater than this value, which correlates to the average balance. So we go ahead and execute this, and we find that we have 6 customers, these are 6 rows returned, whose balances are more than the average balance. Well, suppose we want to do the opposite of this. Suppose instead we want to find all our customers whose balances are less than the average balance. How would we do this? Well, it's essentially the same way. We go ahead, and the only difference is we've changed the sign. Instead of being greater, it's now less than. We still select the average balance from the customer table to find whatever this unknown value is. We then pass it back to our outer query, in which we say select the customer number, customer name, and balance from the customer table where the balance is less than this value, which correlates to the average balance. And we find that there are 4 customers whose balances are less than the average. So whenever you have an unknown value, that's generally when you use a subquery. Since we don't know offhand what the average balance for all our customers is, that's an unknown value. We find that in an inner query and then pass the answer to the outer query to solve whatever problem we have. Now, I'd like to give you another example. Suppose we want to find the customer name for all customers represented by the representative whose last name is Smith. So in this example, all the customers who are represented by a customer whose last name is Smith need to be found for some reason. Well, let's start off by going to the customer table. In the customer table, you notice that we don't have the names of our representatives here. What we have is the rep number, this last column here. And then we have a list of rep numbers underneath. So how are we going to find the last name? Well, it's simple. We go to the rep table, select all from rep, and we see here we have the rep number, that's our primary key column, and we have the last name, Smith, here in the first row. So we start off to find the answer to this question by saying select the rep number from this table rep where last name equals Smith. Remember that the S should be capitalized if you capitalize the name in your table. This value has to match exactly the way it looks down here in your table because it's in single quotes. Select the rep number from the table rep where the last name equals to Smith, the name we're trying to find. Pass that answer to your outer query, and you want to select the customer name from the customer table where the rep number is the rep number that represents the person whose last name is Smith. I'm going to go ahead and execute this code. Control Enter. And now we have a list of all the people who are represented by a representative whose name is Smith. These are some examples as to how to use a subquery on your own. Try and find, using either any of the tables you have, try and look for ways in which you can go ahead and make your own subqueries. Try doing a couple of them. We already found the people whose balances are greater than and less than the average balance for the customer table. Try doing the same thing with credit limit, or something on the part table, for example. I hope this has been helpful for you. Thank you for your time, and God bless you.